Hi, this is Lynn Baker. Thanks for looking at this video of a technical discussion about my composition, David's Tune. If you haven't already, please go to my website, www.lynnbakerjazz.com, and visit the lead sheets page and download a copy of the lead sheet to follow along as I talk about the tune. I'll wait for you here. So this is our discussion of the composition David's Tune. And if you saw the backstory, you saw that the melody of this was dictated to me by my cousin, and it was ABC, ABC, CDE, CDE, FC, FC, and then these first two phrases repeated. And I decided to create a kind of a different environment for this rather easy to understand melody. And it starts out in 4/4 with a 3-bar phrase. And each one of these notes, the first two notes, are the third of the chord. So it's harmonized with an F add 2 and a G add 2. And then this is one of the things I like to do fairly frequently in compositions, is I like to look at two different types of voice leading resolutions and accomplish them both at the same time. It usually ends up with some interesting structures. So we have this looks like, if with F and a G here, it looks like this could easily resolve to the key of C. So that's where I resolve the top voice. The harmony of this note in the upper structure is a C major triad. And down below we had F and G, right? And that looks like it's going up and it's pulling up to somewhere else. So I visualize that as being in F minor or A flat major, and that bass line resolves up to an A flat, so we get a sonority of C major over A flat, which generates this really kind of unsettling augmented chord, and then that is where the material of the bass kind of echo comes from. And also this first section, it's in 4/4, but the first big cadence is after 3 beats, so you don't really know exactly what the meter is and what's going on, so it's a little bit unsettling. The next section of the piece develops this second phrase, the CDE phrase. And it's done in a fairly straightforward way. The rhythm section is now in a jazz waltz, and this phrase is harmonized with an A minor 6 chord. It's played, embellished a little bit, and then played again. And that results in a 7-bar phrase. Next, this phrase, the same one here, is played in the melody, but it's harmonized with a B flat major 7 sharp 11 chord. This is played as an 8-bar phrase. So if you do your math, you can go back to the beginning and say, we see this increasing phrase length of each one of this. This is 2 bars of 3, so that's 6, 1 bar of a 7-bar phrase, a bar of an 8-bar phrase, out of a phrase of 8-bar length, and then this has a little bit of an extension to it that foreshadows this motion here. So when we finally get to this part of the tune that's quite different, it's not stepwise, we're dealing with some different material. In this phrase, it's taken the melody of the piece is taken directly from the melody of that was originally given to me. The only embellishment is just some diatonic connecting notes, but it's harmonized a little bit different. This is harmonized as the third of the chord, so this is a D flat major, and then this is harmonized as the 5th of the chord, so it's F major. So this is a D flat major 7 chord and an F major 7 chord. Those are major thirds apart, and that relationship is drawn from that very first discordant thing that happened right here with a C major over A flat. So this area of the tune harmonically is drawn from that sound that happens right there. Also, this part of the tune feels like it's at rest. It feels like we could stop here, or it actually does stop there. There's less tension, less harmonic motion, and less jarring action. So that feels like kind of a place of arrival. So what I wanted to do then was put some more tension back into it. And so I came back to an E-flat pedal. I introduced material that was not in here. And the E-flat pedal also, it's a soprano pedal. Yeah, the E-flat pedal also is harmonized with ascending chordal material. It was descending to get from this B-flat into that D-flat. And now it's ascending slowly, B-flat, B, C altered dominant, and it's in 4/4. So it feels a little bit more unsettled there. Now remember back here, C was the prospective place of rest, F, G, C. But when we get to C at the end in this phrase extension that I've made, it's an altered dominant. So it definitely doesn't feel like a point of rest. It feels like a point that you were going to move from. Now here's the little kind of cheat in this thing. The original melody had these two phrases repeated, but I didn't really feel like I needed to repeat them at this point. So what I did was I went back to the very beginning, since we were at a C altered dominant chord here. Here's an F. I just went back here and did this, but the listener doesn't know, especially the first time through. You don't know if that's the beginning or if it's a recapitulation. It ends up being the beginning, and so you're going along, and oh, well, where are we? Beginning, middle, end, and a new solo is started at each one of those times. Now this is it turned out to be a really good sound for this, but it created a big problem. How do I actually end the piece? And to do that, I needed to come up with a coda. And so at the very end of the composition, there's a little bit of a coda that's an interlude that's supposed to sound like kind of a broken music box. It's new material, but it's actually kind of based on my relationship with my cousin when we were children. And finally, it comes back to end, and it ends with this phrase on that C over A flat chord. So, quite a bit of harmonic stuff going on in that one. I hope you enjoyed that discussion.